Hi guys, it's Karana here, and in this video, we're gonna talk about how to be an effective public speaker. So in this video, I am not alone to discuss this. I invited someone that has contributed a lot to my public speaking journey. So let's welcome Daniel Lipio, aka Mr. D. Thank you so much for coming in here. I know you're busy, and thank you for accepting this invitation as my guest speaker about public speaking. For the benefit of our audience, can you tell us more about yourself?
Hi everyone, this is Mr. Dee and I have been mentoring Rena ever since. So a little bit background about myself is that I have started my public speaking journey around 3 to 4 years ago. And it started when I joined an international nonprofit organization called Toastmasters International. And ever since, I have developed a great skills in public speaking and leadership skills. I managed to win different competitions in public speaking related to impromptu ones, international speeches, humorous speeches, and even evaluation or giving substance or feedback, valuable feedback to friend speakers. Aside from that, I am now in the field of communication where I am utilizing my skills that I developed at my work.
And I think we shall start questioning him about public speaking, how to be an effective public speaker. Shall we start? Yalla yalla, let's start. Question number one. What does a public speaker should have before delivering a speech?
So thank you for that question. So before we deliver a speech, it is important that we know our DTK method. So DTK method is a method that I developed along with my public speaking journey. So what is DTK? DTK is what you want your audience to do, to think, and to know. So before we deliver a speech, it is important that what what's the reason behind our engagement on that event. What do you want your audience to do after hearing you deliver that speech? Second is, while you are engaging the communication or while you were delivering your speech, what do you want them to think specifically? Do you want them to think about their life, their past experiences, or do you want them to think about the future? Anything that will provoke them to think. And third, lastly, is what you want your audience to know. So after hearing your delivery, what is the substance, the value that you want to share to them? So again, it's TPK, what you want your audience to do, to think, and to know.
Thank you so much for that answer. That's a good one, guys. Because as a public speaker, you should set in your mind what could be the possible impact that you could give to your audiences. So it's like it would be happened before, during, and after your speech. And most importantly, if you're a public speaker, impact and the lesson of your speech is very important for your audience. So, shall we begin with our second question? Yalla yalla. For the second question, what strategies do you use to call the attention of your audience?
Interesting question. There are different ways to grab the attention of our audience whenever we engage in a public speaking engagement or technically a communication engagement. Personally, I love starting my speeches with something unusual. But before anything else, it is important that you set an expectation to your audience. What do I mean by that? You're the online platform, but when you're on a physical stage, you can stand still, stand great. You can make sure that your posture is right, that you're walking towards the stage with power and grace, and with that, you're already grabbing their attention. And after that, when it comes to the structure of the speech itself, you can start with a question, a quotation. Those are the basics or the mostly used introduction or attention grabbing introduction of different public speakers. But you can also play around and start with something unusual. Like personally, I started my speeches before with a song, with a dance, dramatization or acting. I did that, and it grabs the attention of the audience. And when I do that, what comes to their mind is that, what is he doing? Out of nowhere, he started singing. Out of nowhere, he started dancing. Out of nowhere, he started acting like that. With that, you were able to grab the attention of your audience the moment or before you even delivered the message or the value that you wanted to share to them.
Wow, the answer. I really like it, Mr. D. So let's proceed to the next question. How do you structure your speech to ensure its effectiveness?
So, structuring a speech to ensure its effectiveness. So, the question itself already answered the question because structure makes our speech effective. And what do I mean by structure is that the basic structure of a speech is that it has introduction, body, and conclusion, same as with the writings that we do in the academic field or whenever we write, right? So there are different ways to structure our speech, but personally, I love three speech structure. First is SMG, the story, message, and game, where you will share a story, then later on give the meaning of the story, then later you will provide the game or the call to action that you want to give to your audience. Second is PREP, prep. It's point, reason, example, and point. It's most applicable in a professional setup because this is a simple way to answer general questions. That's actually an effective way, but you can also elaborate on it if you want to have a longer speech. And then the third speech pattern that I personally love is AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. You will spark or caught the attention of your audience, and from that you will steer their interest, and then after saying your interest, you will deliver the message that you wanted to partake. It's most applicable to like motivational speaker or persuasive speakers because it can highly affect their audience, because that will surely make an action to the audience afterwards. So again, that's three speech pattern that I personally love. First is SMG, story, message, and game. PREP, proposition, reason, example, and point. Third is AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. And those are some of the speech structures that could help us ensure that to have effectiveness in our speech. To conclude the answer, it's that you must have a structure to have an efficient and effective speech structure.
Actually, I personally use SMG a lot. Let's proceed to the next question.